If you love comfort food, this braised chicken is an elevated flavor profile that's relatively budget friendly because we're using boneless or bone-in chicken thighs. Got some mashed potatoes and a delicious gravy made with leeks and garlic and broth. Let's put it together. I'm using the 4.5 quart saute pan with 4 strips of bacon. I've gone ahead and chopped it up. You want to cook it on low heat until it's crispy. And what you really want to see is this fond in the bottom of your pan. This is going to add a lot of flavor to the sauce that's going to surround our chicken. I'm going to season the chicken today with garlic and herb rub. We need about a tablespoon. So I'm just going to pour to that top line. I'm actually using a little bit less chicken today since I don't need a full batch for us. And we'll go ahead and flip it over and season the other side. We're using bone-in thighs with the skin on. Definitely do that because it adds so much flavor. Now that our bacon is done, we'll just remove it onto a paper towel lined plate, and we're gonna sear the chicken right in that bacon fat. So you can see there's not a ton of bacon grease in here right now. It'll be just the right amount. You want to put your skillet on medium heat, and now we'll take the chicken and skin side down, add it right to your skillet. What we're trying to do here is brown the skin. We'll make it nice and crisp, and it will render more fat to create a nice fond in the bottom of our pan. I like to add the lid and just tip it. It'll prevent splashes on top of your stovetop, and it's still vented. Okay, let's go ahead and flip. See, it releases very nicely when it's well seared. It's got that nice browning going on. We'll flip onto the other side for about a minute. All right, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot of fat to add to here, you know what? It's kind of a rich dish. It's French cooking. It's gonna have butter. So let me grab my spatula over here. Go ahead and get that butter to melt, and we'll add all of our leeks to the pan. Now remember, the leeks are kind of wet, and the pan has hot fat in it, so you want to be careful about any popping. I'm using 2 leeks today, so the recipe says you can use 1 or 2. So even though I'm using just half of the chicken, I'm using the full amount of everything else. I love this recipe and how saucy and delicious it is. And all that fond that's in the bottom of the pan will come up and flavor everything by the time we're done. We'll go ahead and add 4 cloves of garlic with the garlic press. My cloves are small today. This is garlic that I grew in my garden, and this bulb happened to be kind of small. So I'm just adding several cloves in there. I'm probably using like 8 just because they are small. And then just pull the peel right out. We'll add a little bit more. You just want your onions, the leeks and the garlic to cook until fragrant. You don't want to overdo it because garlic will burn if you cook it for too long. You see how the caramelized color is coming into the leeks? The aroma is fantastic. We'll add a couple tablespoons of flour next. Now, if you need to cook gluten-free, it's totally fine to use gluten-free flour here. I am using all-purpose today, but you can do whatever you like. So we're gonna cook this for just a minute. That flour is gonna help thicken the sauce at the end. And it's going to, what they say, cook off kind of the raw flavor of the flour right now. So we'll add that. You'll notice it kind of soaks up any of the extra juice. And optional, you're gonna add some white wine. I like to buy little bottles because I don't really drink white wine, and that way I can have just the little bit that I want. I can freeze the rest in ice cube trays. Half a cup of wine is what you'll pour in. This will help deglaze the pan, which means all of the fond that's left is gonna come up. Now, if you don't wanna use wine at all, you can just use some extra chicken broth. That's totally okay. So you're gonna let this cook now for about 4 minutes until the wine is pretty much cooked down. You don't want your skillet to be dry, but you want most of that wine to evaporate. So it just intensifies the flavors of your leeks and will provide a really good profile for our sauce. Everything is absorbed into the leeks, and we'll add a cup of chicken broth. And this is an optional ingredient, but I recommend that you do it. I'm gonna use some thyme. Now you can use fresh. I'm gonna use dry today. So I'm gonna take about a half a teaspoon. I love thyme with chicken recipes. It looks like I need more thyme. Do you need more thyme? Go ahead and add that. It will rehydrate in the broth and it'll be perfect. We need a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I'm just gonna eyeball it. That looks about right. And let's get everything mixed all together. At this point, your work is mostly done. We just want to get everything combined so that that mustard is really spread throughout. Okay. Now, go ahead and take your chicken and you're just going to set it on top. Now remember, this chicken is not done, so I've got pan juices here that indicate that it's not cooked. That's exactly what it needs to be. So we're gonna put this all back in and you'll let it cook for, it could be about 20 minutes. I want it to be on medium heat. Braised means it's cooking in liquid. Go ahead and add a couple of big handfuls of spinach. Remember, spinach cooks down a lot. So I'm using extra today because this is gonna be like our vegetable. So I'm just gonna cover it all with spinach. And now it's going to braise for that 15 to 20 minutes until your chicken registers at 165. How long it takes will depend on a few things. How thick your chicken is, or how hot your stovetop is. Sometimes people will braise their chicken in the oven, but we'll do this on the stovetop. It's been about 20 minutes. Let's take a look. I'm gonna use our instant read meat thermometer. It's bubbling, the spinach is done. What you wanna do is just check your chicken, make sure it's at 165. And the cool thing about chicken thighs is that even if it's a little bit, warmer than that, it is very forgiving. So I can see the small one is over 175. This one's 171. We're done. It's looking great. Now, what if you don't want to use the bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs? You can use regular chicken thighs. They just won't take as long to cook, and you won't have that extra flavor that comes from browning the skin. We don't plan to eat the skin, but the flavor that it provides in the sauce is absolutely worth it. Let's plate it up. I made some mashed potatoes in the deluxe multi-cooker, just regular mashed potatoes, and you can serve this with rice or pasta if you want to. I think potatoes are perfect for it. So just go ahead and take one of your chicken thighs for each person, and you definitely want to have some of that sauce. Now, one thing that I did differently is I did not add the bacon with the braising when it was going on because I wanted to sprinkle it on top. I think it tastes better that way, and it retains its crispness. So here you are, braised chicken. It's a budget-friendly, kind of upscale meal that you can pull off very quickly in your kitchen. I hope you'll give this a try.